question, so you get 2 minutes. Many of the promises made to the community for parks and open space and affordable housing during the 2005 rezoning have yet to be realized. And yet, development spurred by the rezoning continues to change the face of our neighborhood. What steps would you take as Councilmember to secure commitments from the new administration for the unrealized promises to preserve and develop affordable housing, prevent displacement, and ensure that the neighborhood's infrastructure meets the needs of a growing community? We'll start with Councilmember Levin on that one.
Well, thank you, Lacey. This is arguably the most important issue facing this district today. I was not on the New York City Council in 2005 when the Greenpoint-Williamsburg rezoning was passed. And if I were there, I would not have approved it. I would not have stood by and allowed the amount of luxury housing that was approved to be built on our waterfront. Now, over the last 3.5 years, I have fought day in and day out to hold the Bloomberg administration accountable for the promised parks that they made a commitment to. And that includes Bushwick Inlet, that includes 65 Commercial Street, that includes Transmitter Park, which has been delivered at this point and fully built out. But there needs to be a whole lot more. We need to make sure that the developments along the waterfront have mechanisms in place so that the promised amount of open space and affordable housing is locked in. If you look, the very first rezoning that I did when I was in the New York City Council was a development called Rose Plaza on the river. The developer promised 20% affordable housing at the outset. I stood really alone in the New York City Council opposing the project. Eventually the developer promised 30% affordable housing, 30% affordable housing for family-sized units, and a maximum development height of 28 stories. That is significantly better than the overall Greenpoint-Williamsburg rezoning to the north, where it was 40 stories and 20%. We need to continue to do everything that we can. If that includes lawsuits, then that's what we have to do. But the fact of the matter is that this neighborhood has had, cannot really handle any more displacement because I tell you, I hear from senior citizens on almost a weekly basis calling me saying that they're being evicted, that they're losing their homes, that their rents have gone up to $3,000 or more. And so we need a better effort all around. We need better rent stabilization laws. We need to protect our seniors most importantly.
Let's start here. We all know that the 2005 rezoning of Williamsburg and Greenpoint has completely failed our neighborhoods. We were promised over 1,000 units of affordable housing, and we received 13 so far. We haven't received the promised parkland either, and now we're being blackmailed. We're saying that after 8 years, we're finally going to be given these things that we were promised 8 years ago, but only if we accept 40-story towers along our waterfront. This is not right. I will not merely demand that these buildings build affordable housing units, I will actively fight their construction.
Yes.
There are things that can be done. But frankly, it's not too late, and to simply say, to accept our fate tepidly and say, build us some affordable units, build us a couple parks, and fine, give us 40-story towers. I will not accept that. There are things that can be done. Section 197A, the 197A plan of the charter, says that councilmen can initiate the rezoning process. I will do that in my very first week in City Council. Secondly, we're basing this whole project, Greenpoint Landing and Commercial Street, around environmental impact studies that were conducted nearly a decade ago. These are completely insufficient. And furthermore, these studies never made it past phase 1 of testing. We can sue the city on this grounds. We can sue these projects, Article 78. We can prevent it. We can stop it. We can force better environmental impact studies. We need a transportation impact study. I will fight to prevent these projects from going up in the present form.
30 seconds for rebuttal on that one if you want to do a quick follow-up.
Now, this has been a question that has definitely come up over the last couple of weeks in light of the certification of the amendment to Greenpoint Landing rezoning and for 77 Commercial. And the question that I've been asking is it possible to rezone the rezoning? Can you go back and initiate an Article 78? Well, unfortunately, Article 78 has a 90-day time frame. So there doesn't seem to be a way through an Article 78 to undo the 2005 rezoning. But I am committed to working with the community board. Right now, as they're looking for as they're looking to make recommendations on those two proposals, what can we do to really do what's best for this community? If we can downzone the 2005 rezoning, I would wholeheartedly embrace it. The question is how. An Article 78 is not a legally viable option, but if we can go back and do a new EIS, then let's explore that.
Answers to that. One, there is precedence. March 2008, 13 blocks were rezoned around Grand Street in central Williamsburg, preventing two 15-story monstrosities from going up. This rezoning took place after ground was broken on these construction sites. It's absolutely not too late.